We first started off on manual. I did high CPC. I said I was going to test low CPC. That was where we left off like 1 or 2 weeks ago. Now, when we're testing really low CPC, I get a much higher volume. What we end up finding is that when we go with low CPC, then the TROAS campaign can actually go a little bit higher CPC and actually earn more volume of traffic because there is a keyword conflict there. So what ends up happening here is those max clicks on manual allow for that broad match of TROAS to work really, really well. What ends up happening is if I'm assuming that my competitors are spending an amazing amount of money buying the conversions. And that is true. And what I'm trying to do is say, will Google allow my campaign to win the placement simply due to the fact that they've been to my website and they have not been to my competitor website?
Got it. There you go. So your placements, like as soon as you started doing, did you see your placements in your TROAS campaign all of a sudden start to rise?
Yes, it actually had a scale. And here's my thought. Here's a few things that I was looking at in order to say, is this working? Yeah. So, I'm going to share screen.
Oh, and somebody's calling this your feeder strategy. We haven't named it. We haven't named it yet.
I like it, Jose.
John's feeder strategy. Thanks for that, Jose. We're going to apply for a patent for that John Moran feeder strategy.
Here's a sandwich. I'll just feed it.
It's like our call before. You were feeding yourself, so you are, now you're feeding Google on this call.
It's going to slowly turn into the hunger strategy if I don't continue to eat here.
That's right. That's a good-looking sandwich, by the way.
Thank you. That's I don't deserve my wife, like I always say. She keeps me well fed.
A wife that feeds you lunch. That's
she just comes in and brings me a sandwich. I'm like, thank you.
Jen made me lunch yesterday. It was like the best lunch I've ever had. But anyway, go ahead.
It just tastes so much better.
I don't know what it is.
I know.
Right? Okay. Back to this. So back to your feeder strategy.
Yeah, the feeder strategy. So as my cost increased, my conversion value increased faster than that. So it's actually starting to become more efficient at scale. My conversion rate is going up and my CPC is staying the same. It's about the same.
Yep.
So then I look at my search.
And this is the whole camp. This is everything here.
This is the 2 campaign. Yeah, this is the strategy put together.
Nothing else for this particular offer. Okay. Just want to make sure.
It's just bolting on a max click strategy alongside of my TROAS.
Yep.
And then what's funny is right here, I haven't even broken into anything in regards to even market penetration. I'm still barely scraping by.
So your search impression share less than 10%.
Tiny. It's either less than 10 or over 90 lost. So I'm still because my TROAS is saying like I'm gonna try to buy. Now theoretically, my search impression share should be high because search impression share says, hey, are you getting everything you're eligible for? Well, if I can't spend the full daily budget and I'm trying to spend $1,500 a day and it's not spending $1,500 a day, technically my search impression share should be high.
Yeah.
I'm not getting that yet.
Which tells you the TAM is very large or
it's still learning. Right.
It's still learning. Okay.
And this is scaling profitably in learning, which is ridiculous. Yeah. Usually people are like, well, wait for learning. Don't spend, don't go by 150% and don't add $2,000 in, 4 or 5 days while it's in learning. I'm like, no, I'm expecting it to learn. Right. I'm expecting it to perform better.
Because it's only been going since what, July? How long has
this one's been running for like 6 months?
6 months. Okay.
Yeah.
That's right.
So
that's right.
It never got off the ground.
And you figured this out. Got it. So for those of you who haven't watched any of the previous YouTube lives, I highly recommend you go back because this is actually part of the evolution. I'm sort of forgetting some of the individual details here. This strategy, this John feeder strategy, hunger strategy, is the way that this scaled because you were frustrated. You weren't doing this is an affiliate offer. Obviously, like you weren't devoting that much time to it until you sort of figured out, well, wait a second, what if I try this? And this is sort of how it all kind of evolved. And so we're going through this in real time here, ladies and gentlemen. And it's early days with this strategy, but so far it's working out pretty well in a highly competitive niche. I used to sell leads in the education market back as an affiliate. But I did it through all like black hat strategies and like on Yahoo search, if you can imagine that, John. Right. But anyway, so I understand how competitive this friggin' thing is. And you're barely scratching the surface with this based upon search impression share on the clicks campaign primarily because it is learning.
Oh no, search impression share on TROAS.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy is a search impression share is based on eligibility. It's not based on market penetration. So basically says like, are you getting what you're trying to get? And if I have a TROAS that's not spending all the money, but I'm hitting target, I theoretically am getting everything I'm trying to get. So typically the search impression share is high. The fact that it hasn't come into my peripheral yet in my view of an actual metric is telling me A, it's still learning and it doesn't know, or B, it's growing and still hasn't had a figure because we're spending more and more per day. So that's what I'm waiting for. So that was something I will know if it's helpful, if it's working. My next thing that I'll be checking is, am I getting a lot of just good one click, one sale type of ecosystem in my TROAS campaign? And we are. So we're definitely getting a lot more clicks and we're definitely getting a lot more good ROAS. If I start descending my ROAS, like that's what's cool is like there's broad match at work. Like, I don't even know what that is. Let's translate that to English. U.S. Community College ranking school. I made 37,000 ROAS on that one, which is cool. But, you know, because of that search term, it only cost me 37 cents. Yeah. So what's nice about this is now I know I should be seeing this, and I should see things that are not really realistic, like Community College Online, free online classes for adults. I do have a lot of clicks into the free community college, free online, because this is covering also things like grants. So this is applicable for me. Okay. So that's what, and this is what I know I got paid on. Remember, I'm importing actual metrics from my sales figures, not just cost per leads. These are sold leads. And that's why I think that this is really important to say, like, yeah, it's, you know, tracking it is correct. So
and just pause there for a second. And how are you doing that? Because I know we did explain that, I think, in a previous video,
through API.
Live. Through an API. Okay.
Yeah. The when it gets sold within 24 hours, it pipes into Google. And when it matches G-Code, G-Braid, W-Braid, then it shows up, which is only about like a 70% match rate, 80% match rate.
Got it. So you're missing something, but you know that you're doing well if you're like at these figures here.
Yeah. Like if this is over 100, I know I'm making probably over 120%. Yep.
Got it. Makes sense.
Yep. So that's what's nice is now where I would see this working, am I getting more kind of like one click, one conversion? And those I should see the amount of them rise, and I am. Right. Because it was trying to do that for a long time and never did. So if it's like saying, okay, now this thing can actually start to get all of the sales that I've been asking it to since, let's see, start of the campaign in January. So that's where it's like, okay, if it has struggled since then and hasn't got off the ground, now it actually can. So that's what's cool is this thing is actually, you know, and this is in an account that has ran since August of 2019. Like, this is not new shit to this account. Like, it has been a long time. It just has fizzled out, whittled out, and died as automated bidding became more prevalent and Google went from selling traffic to selling leads. And so like this thing was spending 100K a month back in 2020, 2021. And then it went all the way down to spending like 9K a month in 2023 in November. So this is our way to bring it back. Because you can actually see the transition.
What changed there, just for the audience? Like, I forget what happened.
I'll share a screen here. So you'll see everything that's ever happened in this account.
I got to get out of my full screen mode. See, I have to go to full screen mode to see like what's going on, because I'm like, Or so either that or I need to like up my amplification of my glasses here.
Zoom in.
Zooming.
So this is like 2019. This is when this thing started. This is the height of this thing, spending like $200,000, $250,000 a month. And then they got like really good at spending 100 and making 170, 190. Like this thing was making 80, 90,000 profit per month. And then it started to get kind of like worse and worse. And then in January and February this year, last year, this is also when we saw Google kind of defaulting to maximize conversions and auto apply TROAS and TCPA, and things just kind of like went down from here. And it was, you know, try to make it a little bit better, but it costs 137,000, making 82. And I started working on them, and now we're like, okay, let's see if we can get this into now back into profitability, which we have this month technically. But we have 90 campaigns that are failing and now like 2 campaigns that are profitable. So we're going to restructure the entire account with this new strategy to get it back up to volume, but back up to profitability.